See, what did you think of this book?
I like that.
I thought it was entertaining, and I listened to the audiobook, and I liked the narrator.
Agree.
She's pretty dramatic at some points.
I also did the audiobook.
Did you guys realize? Sorry, I'm eating. Did you guys
Okay.
realize that that's Rey from Star Wars?
I did not.
What do
In
you
the
mean?
Audible?
Yeah, Daisy Ridley was the narrator, so she's in Star Wars. She's Rey.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's cool. I think I only listened one time, but I wouldn't have known. That's awesome. Um, I like the book because I was not expecting it to be very like friendship and like girls supporting girls, which is
Hmm.
kind of nice. Um, and like the men, I don't know, the men were not my favorite characters.
Hmm.
Phil, I guess, was all right, but we knew Carl was an ass, so
I had
yeah.
his comeuppance in the end. I also thought it was interesting the two main characters had like a person with mental health troubles in their life. That
Hmm.
was an interesting way of weaving those themes in without making it the focal point of the story.
Yeah.
At first, both of the characters bugged me in different ways,
Hmm.
but I think the story like got better as it went along. And I agree, Judith. Like, I didn't think it was going to go where it went, and I was happy
Mhm.
that it did because it actually like was nice. Like in
Hmm.
the end, like I really thought it was going to go a certain way, like just be like a mystery thing,
Yeah.
but it was really more like a female friendship thing, and like I liked that about it because that to me was more fulfilling and heartwarming to read than just like where are the shoes?
Hmm.
Yeah, which in the beginning it felt like that. Like she was very, brands, money. Oh, my husband. Oh, I don't care about the hotel. And then, I mean, she had a little bit of history, which I still feel like I would have liked to know a little bit more, just because her Nisha story, I think, was more interesting than Sam's. But in the end, it was very wholesome and it it was also nice and it tightened well and there were some negatives, but it was like the men and it was like stuff that they fixed. And they left. It's not like they stayed there and it stayed, like yeah, I mean she stayed there for many years, but
Hmm.
finally got to be free and have something better. Like with the Alex guy, I was kind of happy for them. I was like, oh, someone
Hmm.
that actually cares and is teaching her like, hey, you deserve to be loved the right way and not have friends who, expect you to only care for you if you give them something.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Okay, his accent. I know a lot of Polish people,
Hmm.
and that I don't that did not sound Polish.
He was Polish?
Sounded
Oh.
Russian.
Hmm.
I thought
Oh.
she said he's from Poland at one point. I
I
was
think
like,
you're right. You're right, Julie.
Yeah, he
I was
was.
like, no way. I know because with that accent, at first I was thinking he was like, I don't know, Middle Eastern or
Russian.
something. You think Russian?
It sounded
I
Russian
don't
to
know.
me.
And then they
Weird.
said Poland. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. So what was her settlement? Because I felt like it wasn't enough. Like she should have gone for a little more or like kept a few more of those diamonds for herself.
Well, I feel like didn't she end up getting I think at the end she mostly cared about her clothes, right? And like yes, the rest of the money, but I think she kind of went from being super materialistic to just being like I'm good with what we have. And I think she was just more happy that she was kind of in a way getting revenge, but not I don't know, like I don't really know how much she ended up with. I don't think there was a lot.
It
I
was
just
enough.
right?
It was like some cash and then enough for like to maintain like a two-bedroom apartment, I think anywhere she wanted until Ray finished college or a couple of years after he finished college or something like that. That's what I understood.
I feel like the message that the author was trying to convey was that, like, in the end, she kind of like she wanted enough to like live, but that she wasn't trying to just like be a trophy wife anymore. Like, that she wanted
Mhm.
to like live on her own. But it did feel a little bit like she was about to have a new partner. So I don't know, like, if the that message is like was fully, communicated. But I think in the end, she mostly wanted revenge on him, and she wanted to make him pay, and she wanted to humiliate him,
Mhm.
rather than like just get all the money. Maybe she also figured like there was a bunch of crime associated with those diamonds too. So in the end, she was just like, I just care that Carl, like, when I'm with my kid, that I have enough money to get by, and that Carl is like ruined.
Yeah, maybe she was afraid of getting associated with him criminally too, so it was better just to accept that for some reason. But I think she wanted her son back more too. I was also shocked because I knew the shoes probably had something illegal in it, but I was imagining like a little USB stick hidden somewhere in there, not like him using her to smuggle diamonds and using her as a mule. So that part was surprising.
Yeah, that was shocking.
I think it's funny that we kept saying drugs and nobody said jewelry. I'm like, I didn't even think about can you do that in shoes? Like, I don't know. It seems weird, no?
I thought she was gonna end up with the money because I thought the USB stick would have like all the account information or
Oh.
something. But there's definitely something hidden in them.
I
I,
guess it's like a super high heel. Like, is it like a 6 inch heel? So even just a
Mhm.
couple inches of diamonds is a lot.
but
It's
didn't they
weird
like,
you wouldn't hear them like moving around.
but like, didn't they break the heel and then like she put it back together? I thought that
Yeah,
was weird,
she
right?
she switched out three diamonds from with Kat's costume jewelry and she repaired the heels.
Oh, that's right. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, you'd think he would notice, but
Yeah, I was just like
it was
in
broken
my
and
head,
glued.
I imagined the heel was completely like destroyed. And I'm like, you can tell it was like ripped apart or like broken apart. But I
I
guess in
think,
the end, he doesn't really care. He just sees the shoes and he's like, oh, I'm good.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
Carl
maybe it was designed to be kind of broken easily
Or
so they
that.
could access it.
repaired easily.
Also very true.
I imagine Carl as being like too conceited to even think that things wouldn't go his way, so therefore he wouldn't notice or even suspect it, as she kind of was saying in the book. There was no way in his eyes that he wasn't going to win. And then I was wondering if he was using his new girlfriend to already smuggle diamonds too.
The audacity, man. Like,
Yeah,
and then the what was her name was there
definitely.
while they're doing the whole like, he has
Transaction.
the shoes and I'm like, oh my God, why would
Mhm.
you?
Gross.
Yeah.
There was a moment where I thought Sam was going to end up with the other guy too instead of getting back with her husband.
It was
I was kind of for it. I don't know. That guy pissed me off so much.
Me
he
too.
was just
I
yeah.
like Stroll.
Yeah, it was hard to like keep giving him chances, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah.
You know, he went through something traumatic too, but yeah, I feel like he made his family suffer for it.
Yeah.
And then her parents too, Sam's parents were very toxic, and I feel like I felt very bad for her when that part would come up because at least your parents are supposed to support you.
Yeah, we never really heard, like, even with Phil, like, she kept alluding to the fact that when in the past he had been different.
Hmm.
But, like, we didn't really see that. So all we saw was just like what he was being in the present, and like the daughter was being like, like a teenager, and that's to be expected. But like it seemed like all the adults in her life, other than like Miriam Price and Joel, were like horrible. So it was hard to
Mhm.
be like, yeah, it's good that you ended up kind of like, in this. But she did tell her parents like stop, and Phil was able to change. But I don't know. I just was like so pissed at him by the end that I did think the thing at the end with her like like that to me was kind of like a little jump the shark, that she was gonna fire her old boss at the end.
It was a bit on the nose.
Yeah. I thought it was
I
great that
was
she just got that job. Like that could have been the end.
I was worried like Miriam Price was gonna turn out to be someone bad,
Oh.
like maybe she was involved with the shoes because she was like so interested in them. But I'm glad it turned out she was just a nice person.
Yeah. I liked Andrea's character too. At first, at the beginning, I was like, I don't understand why she's in the story besides like Sam needs a friend, at least someone that's supportive of her. But then I liked the arc her story took.
And then it was kind of nice that they were comparing, was it Jasmine and Andrea, the ones who became friends instantly? And she's like, oh, I'm not like her. She's just so nice. She gets along with everyone and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh, like it wasn't like mean comparison. It was more like it gave us more perspective of how different Sam was. And I don't know, I kind of like that because I mean, we knew a little bit about Andrea, but not a lot. So I think
Hmm.
seeing her saying that, I was like, oh. And then it just like automatically it's like they're gonna be friends for for a good minute. So that was nice.
Yeah, it just seemed like it did seem at the beginning like the book was kind of going to be a little shallow
Yeah.
and kind of, but it wasn't. So it did
Which,
surprise me in
which
that
I
way.
think is why I remember trying to start this book, or maybe it was an audiobook or Libby or something. I rented it and I didn't get far into it. I was just like, meh, whatever. And
Hmm.
I gave up. But I'm glad we read it here because it's actually pretty nice. It's
Yeah,
it's not bad. I would recommend it if you want like a
Light read.
yeah. Like there's heavy stuff, but it's not like you're sitting in it and you're like, oh my gosh, like thinking about it for days or even
hmm,
that night while you're reading. It's like, it's a difficult time, but it's like,
it kind of reminds
Yeah.
me of The Maid, like where it's like the mystery kind of keeps you going, and there are some intense parts, but it's not like that intense, like what you were saying, Judith, where you're kind of stressing about it.
yeah, like a little life where I was like, oh my God, you
Oh
know,
yeah, that was a painful
I
one.
almost, I almost,
Yeah, like I feel comfortable recommending this one. Like
yeah.
some like okay, like our last book, like House of Spirits, like we liked that one, but
Mhm.
it's like is everyone gonna like that one? Like
Mhm.
are you in the mood for that kind of historical
Yeah.
fiction-y, like generational or
That one was pretty dark at moments too.
Hmm.
yeah, like a lot of our books I feel a little hesitant recommending it, but I feel like this one was fun. Like
It was good.
Yeah.
I could recommend
I think what I like about this like group is that we are able to like enjoy things that are light and also things that are heavier, you
Yeah.
know? Because
Dark.
we can't do one thing all the time. Like it's good to
No.
like switch it up, but like
Yeah,
I feel like it's good that, we like different things.
Hmm.
it keeps it fresh, and I think like I think I've learned to appreciate romance more than before. So
Well,
um,
the House of Spirits for me, and I think even the Nightingale, those are the two historical
mhm.
books that I'm like, I actually really enjoy. And I still think about the House of Spirits, which I'm like,
I'm
I'm
thinking about it
liking it more as time passes, which is weird. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why, but I think about it when there's like people in the clinic, they're talking about their stories and like, all these different generations, and I'm like, wow. And it's literally not like the book, but it just has me thinking this way. And I was like, oh my gosh,
Hits you differently after like
passes
reading
and this
something like
happens and this person dies, and I'm just like, House of Spirits. I don't know. It's
that.
weird.
That's cool.
But yeah, I kind of want to read more historical now, but
That's one of my favorites.
still kind of hesitant.
What was that other one we did? The JP Morgan one?
Oh,
Mm.
Oh,
I
the
the
like that one
library?
the
too.
personal librarian, right? That was
Hmm.
Yeah, I really like that one too.
I love historical fiction, even just history in general. Yeah, I liked this book. I liked that it was focusing on female friendship versus like romance per se, although there was tenets of that throughout, but it wasn't the focal point. And I think that because it had like a lot of themes on the side, but it wasn't overly done, I feel like it kept it interesting.
Yeah, like that. I had a little bit of everything: comedy, romance, mystery,
Mhm.
The
friendship.
working class living in poverty
Hmm.
versus richness,
Hmm.
crime.
Oh yeah, when they broke in and then like destroyed the house, I'm like, oh my God, why would they do that? Totally forgetting that obviously it's related to like the shoes and everything. I'm like, I did not
Hmm.
expect that. That was wild.
I thought something worse was going to happen to Sam or her family because of how Joel was trying to warn her. Oh, that was an interesting scene too, because that's when like Phil is like, "Are you having an affair?" And he calls her right then to warn her someone's looking for her.
Yeah.
I felt like I could imagine like if it was a movie.
And then when what's his name? Phil?
Yeah.
Mhm. Was trying to fix stuff around and she's scared and I literally thought she was gonna kill him or something or like hit him and knock him out because she was
In
scared.
her
I'm like, why
acting
would you
class.
do that? Like at that point, communicate, dude. Come on. I don't know. Yeah, he was really annoying. Now that I think about it.
Yes.
He was. And then I hate how like they just like assume she was having an affair instead of kind of talking more and getting to the root of what's truly happening. It's so easy to assume stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that part that they were just focusing on all the negative. Like once she started feeling better with working out and doing things for herself.
Mm-hmm. It's like the double standard that women face.
Hmm.
If it was a boy having an affair, oh, haha, no problem. But women wants to move on. It's all, oh no, they're sacrificing their family, la la la.
I think it was more frustrating that Phil was getting all upset and stuff. And I like that the therapist was like, well,
Calling him out.
you said it yourself. Like,
You haven't been doing
like,
anything.
yeah, like, what, sir? You realize this and now you're mad? Like, don't be mad. You said it yourself previously. Like, come on. And I was like, yeah, you tell him.
He's just been like a bump on a log, which I feel is becoming my phrase of the year, bump on a log.
Hmm.
What would you guys rate the book?
I give it like a solid 3.8, 3.9. Like it was enjoyable. It started off like I didn't think I was gonna like it that much, but it really got better as it went on. It was just like a nice read. I
Mm-hmm.
think the comparison to The Maid, it like that one did it was pretty similar to that, but I did like The Maid a little more because I think the characters in The Maid were a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it a 4 on Goodreads because it doesn't let you do the little apps or whatever. But I think I want to do like a 3.75.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because I feel like a 4 would be, like I said, right from the beginning, like it kind of keeps me entertained. And in the beginning, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. And then I was like, ooh, drama. And yes, it was nice and wholesome. Um, but there was moments where I struggled and I was like, oh, I think we talked about in one of the meetings, I totally fell asleep for the part where
Mm-hmm.
they gave the flash drive to Sam And like not until we came up to this meeting, we were talking about it, and I was like, wait, what flash drive? And I was like, how do I forget? How do I not, and I realized I did fall asleep in one of the parts. So I would have given it a 4 if I had not fallen asleep. So, but it's still good. It's a good book.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I'd give it like a 3.8 because it was entertaining. I liked the themes. I struggled with Nisha, especially like with the Raymond stuff. But in the end I like her. But it's not like a book that's gonna change my perspective on anything. So that's why I wouldn't give it a 4.
It's not like life changing.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I must read this and wow.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think I'm kind of like having troubles deciding for different reasons. I liked the book a lot because I could tell I kept like, because I think some parts of it were pretty funny to me. So like just the way, the things that characters would go through, I could take find a lot of comedy in some of the things. But also like since I read the Me Before You and the other books by the same author, I'm kind of like in my brain like comparing it to that, and I feel like I like what you said, Katie, was good. That it's like a good book, but it doesn't change your perspective. Like the Me Before You definitely is like, whoa, it makes you like cry or just have some
Mhm.
emotion, like more strong emotions. So I think I will be at like a 3.6, 3.75 as well. Although compared to other books similar to it, I did think it was stronger. Like if you compare within the same genre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'll give it a 4 because I liked it and I'd recommend it. But yeah, like you said, sometimes I was like a little slacking on my reading, whereas maybe with other books, more like, oh, I gotta read now.
Yeah. I feel like I felt like I wanted to finish when I was midway to the end. That's when I was like, oh, I want to know. I want to know what's gonna happen. And I feel like
Mhm.
the beginning was the slow part where I'm like, ah, I have to read it. Like you're like, it's interesting, but not as interesting for me to be like, let's go. Let's get this book started. Let's go.
Mhm.
But it turned out good at the end.
It was a really good book for this month when I was like working like crazy and everything was really stressful and horrible. Honestly,
Mhm.
it was like the perfect book for this time.
Mm.
That's good.
Yeah, it's nice that it wasn't super. Even though I feel like the pages were what, like 90 to 100 pages or so, but they weren't.
It moved along because the chapters were shorter, which I appreciated
Yes.
after House of Spirits. I didn't
Yeah,
have
I
to go
was gonna
back and be
say
like,
like,
wait, what happens?
yeah, like they were just smooth. Like I don't know if smooth is the right way. It was just
I
they
feel
weren't too long. There wasn't a lot of words, or I
hmm
think the font was not. At least my font was not really really small. So the 100 pages did not feel like 100 200 pages. It felt like
hmm
70 or 80, and I was like, oh, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, that's something I did appreciate about it this month. I feel like it's been a bit busy. Last week was a bit rough for me, so the chapters listening was like 20 minutes, so I could like listen to one chapter a day and be kind of like, okay, this is my unwind time. And that's how I found myself becoming more curious because I was listening over several days versus like just knocking it out in one day, which is what I usually do.
Yeah, compared to hours when you guys are like,
Yeah, that's just true. I would listen for an hour, then I'll have to rewind it. So I think it was just a little easier on my brain.
yeah. The following books that everyone suggested, I was like, oh my God, I want to read them all.
There, who suggested the Viola Davis one?
So this is funny. I think last meeting it was me and Crystal, and then
Mm-hmm.
Julie joined in because at the Zoom meeting, and Crystal and I had gone like on FaceTime because she
Oh,
said,
it's so sad to miss last week.
no, it's okay, it's okay. I mean, stuff happens. But then
Anything my
we all
kids was
joined in
gonna
with
say out.
Julie, and we we talked about it, and then I was like, okay, Crystal, what should we do? Since we started the book club like now, I don't know how many years ago now. And I was like, well, hey, now since it's just the two of us, like, hey, let's talk about what do we want to do for next month.
Mm-hmm.
And she had mentioned a Davis book, and I knew it was this one, but I was like, oh. And then her sister had a baby around the time when I was asking everyone, like, hey, what book do you guys want? Or like, send in
Mm-hmm.
your books. And I just threw that one in because my book was The Bluest Eye.
Mm-hmm.
And I threw that one in because I'm like, oh, I think that's the one Crystal won. I'll just whatever.
Oh,
And I
nice.
didn't expect it to win. And I was like, oh, that was so cool because everyone kind of either had it at first, second. I was the one who put it third just because you guys gave so many good books and all of them had good ratings. And I'm very biased with like the Goodreads and Amazon both having really high ratings. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
why? So yeah, it was just kind of like,
Organic.
I still didn't pitch it, but I just threw it in there.
I've read it. It's very good. And I got the audiobook on Libby, so I'm excited to listen to it. And I was gonna tell you guys in the chat, but then I figured I would wait. I did not know that you could get Grammys for audiobooks, and that's when I believe got the 2023 Grammy for audiobook. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't know this was a thing. So
Thing?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It says winner of the 2023 Grammy for Best Audiobook Narration and Storytelling Recording, Audio Award winner for Audiobook of the Year, narrated by Viola Davis. So I do like that it's like about her life and she's the one narrating it. And then it's a very good book. Some parts of it are heavy, but I think it's going to be a really good read for us. And it's been a bit, I think I read it 2 years ago, so I can't remember everything in it. And I was thinking, she does mention, I think, some of her movies throughout. So I was thinking that if I have time this month, like if I hear a movie in a certain section, I'll watch it. So then I could kind of get a little deeper into it.
I just
put,
rewatched Widows. Widows is really good. If nobody saw it, I recommend it.
Oh, I haven't. Thank you. Appreciate it.
if you guys want, my brother told me about this website or this app, Libro,
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
and it's audiobooks. It's about the same price as Audible, but it's if you get the book through them, it goes directly to an independent bookstore, and you can like choose, I think, the bookstore
Ooh.
the funds go to.
Oh, that's great.
It's not like as, from what I know, it's not like as vast as Audible, but I think you can find like common books on there.
Oh, cool.
Take a picture of the check.
Oh, that's cool.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you for
Mhm.
sharing, Katie.
But yeah, they all look like really good picks.
Yeah, I keep seeing that James book, Katie. I think I'm gonna.
Yes. Well, I have to read, I have never read Huckleberry Finn,
Me
so I have to read
either.
that before, or maybe I'll read James first and then
So when
Huckleberry.
I saw that book, I was like, that was one of my top choices. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
second. And I was like, I don't know if I should vote for it because I haven't read Huckleberry Finn. And I'm like, I'm gonna be very like clueless and all this is gonna be new to me. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should read on the side, but we'll see. Probably at it. I am reading more. I'm I think I told you guys I was reading Fourth Wing like months ago. I
And you only
finally came
came
back
out
to it and I'm
recently.
actually like
Mm-hmm.
reading it. So
I might do the audiobooks again if I have time, which I probably won't, but I could get ready for Onyx Storm. I have to get on my Kindle because those books have really small font.
yeah, I'm gonna give you updates about that because you asked me last time and I was like, yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
I'm
I'm
ready
okay
for
with
it.
that.
Send all your reactions my way.
Yes. Yes, I'm like full on, full in. But our next reading section will be chapter 127, Don't Read 8, or Don't Listen to 8.
Don't listen to eight.
Don't
Okay.
listen to ocho.
I
It's
see.
also a shorter book, so I think it's gonna be kind of nice. Like 70 or so pages.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah. So if you have side books or side audiobooks, You can do it.
Going back to the movies, I know this movie, some of these movies came out a long time ago, but I saw Midsommar, which is like about a cult and it's supposed to be horror. That one was very
Mhm.
interesting, very weird. If you don't like weird, I would not recommend it. But also on Friday, I think I only had seen a piece of it. I watched Silver Linings Playbook and I really liked it. That one was old too. It came out in 2012. But I didn't know Jennifer Lawrence was one of the youngest people to get an Oscar for that one.
Oh,
That one I do recommend. And it made me curious to read the book.
I did
I've
see.
read the book. I don't really remember it.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think it's pretty similar to the movie though.
Oh, cool. Thank you. The family fights a lot in the movie, like they're always yelling, and it made me laugh because Rico was stressed after watching it. And I was like, fine, but I was like, oh, I think I'm more accustomed to this than he is. A little bit chaotic.
So it was based on a book?
Yeah, it is.
I had no idea.
The
That's
movie,
you just said it right now. It's not
yeah.
the type that they later like do the book because they did a movie, right?
No, I think the book came first, but I'm not sure 100%. But I liked it because it's like about people with mental illnesses and it's kind of like a drama, but it's also kind of a romantic comedy. But I think like for me, I could see the comedy in it more than Rico.
Yeah, I saw it because I think during this time Jennifer Lawrence was doing all the Hunger Games stuff, and I was like
Mm-hmm.
more into it. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch everything she's at. I'm gonna do everything. And then I think this was one of the more serious ones, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, serious as in like it's not
Mm-hmm.
Katniss Everdeen.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it's a good movie. I recommend it.
Yeah.
I actually think her Katniss character is way more serious than this one.
Which, which that's
Yeah,
why
it's
I was like,
intense.
I don't know if, if that's the right way to say it, because the Hunger Games is like, when you think about it, like with Trump and all this, I'm like, dude, we're living in a very dystopian, very
Mm-hmm.
like, are we in Pandem? And I'm just like, oh God, you guys don't say that. But more serious as in like, I think a lot of teenagers would be watching Hunger Games and stuff like that. And then the Silver Linings, I think it was more of like more serious topics. That's what I mean by that.
Mhm.
Yeah, kind of. It's just they're very different. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw it as adults and then kids. So,
Mm.
yeah, I'll check out the book because I'm intrigued. Okay, so chapter 127. We'll see you guys in a week.
All right.
You
Take care,
guys
everybody.
all stay safe and healthy and have a good night.
Good night. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.